everybody. So I have been thinking over the last couple of days just about my experience, what my experiences have been in making dioramas. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to put a video together now that I have this opportunity, that I have two different pieces here in front of me and some differences, so I can explain a little bit about kind of the thinking that goes behind commissions. So this video is just going to talk about commissions. So when I first started creating dials, never did I think in a million years that somebody was going to buy them off me. Like that was the furthest thing from my mind. I remember it was Frank Ochoa, and I've said this before. It was Frank, who's a really good CBA artist and part of the community. He had hit me up and was just like, "Yo, dude, let me buy this off of you." And I just threw a price at him. He was like, "Cool." So that was my introduction into selling dioramas. Now, it wasn't a commission piece. Obviously, it was a piece that I had created for myself, but I sold it, and I was like, man, I made a few bucks. And I remember taking that money and literally flipping it into more action figures, which was great. So I just wanted to touch, and that was probably more than a year ago. So I wanted to touch base a little bit on the process, some of the stuff I've learned, and so I'm just gonna randomly start talking about stuff, and hopefully it'll answer a lot of questions that people may have when they ask me about commissions, or commissions in general, because I think it's evolved throughout the Dial Structure group. I know that several of the best dial makers have hit me up and asked me how I dealt with commissions, how I answered questions, what was my price structure. So I was always happy to pass that along to pretty much almost anyone who asked. You wanted to know what my price structure, how I approach people who approach me on commissions. Bam! Here's what I send them. And so, again, I've talked about that paragraph where it just talks about, pretty much talks about it starts at the dimensions and the details, and then expands from there. So this is a really good opportunity now that I have these two dials in front of me. Both will be shipping out real soon. So now that I have these in front of me, I say, you know what, this is a great opportunity to talk about some of the differences in pricing, and so how I approach it and why it has the price that it has, and all that other good stuff. So first and foremost, Marvel Legends, Captain America, Ultimate Captain America, and then I don't know what that's a custom Colson by my homie Aaron Williams over at AW Designs. I don't know what body that is, to be honest with you. I think it's a Mattel body, a DC body. And so I just wanted you guys to get an idea of some action figures. Both of these are pretty much 12 by 12 by 12. And here, here is where the differences start. And I'm also going to be, for the first time, I generally don't like talking about prices. That's something that I just discuss with people individually. But I'm going to touch a little bit on some of the structures, the price structures that I follow, and so that you guys get an idea. So this here is a commission. This is going out to California, and he hit me up and he wanted something real simple. The bottom of my pay or my commissions all start at $60. So I'm not really doing commissions underneath the price of 60, so they all start at $60. People have asked for walls, and I can do just an individual wall, or a prop obviously would be cheaper, but like a 12 by 12 by 12 dial starts at 60. This particular piece here was $75, and that includes the shipping. So the reason it was a little bit more was because of the shipping, which it's going to California, and I'm in Boston, so it's going across the country, and also because he wanted the door. So I had to do a little more work with the door, put some balsa wood. So it brings the price up a little bit. Also, generally, if it was a $60 piece, I wouldn't have done this. I would not have done the door. Pretty much it would have been bricks and cement. That is it. And maybe a sign. So the point of it kind of is that you should really try this on your own. It's really not that difficult, man. This is a 2x2 piece of insulation foam board. I have a whole bunch of videos where I give tips and tricks and how I approach it, and so that, you know, either you're gonna pay me or one of the dial makers in the community $60 and up, or you're gonna try it yourself, and for the most part it's not as difficult as you think. So yeah, so this was again a $75 piece. This ultimately becomes, this is something that's going on, and I'm just gonna take the figures out. This, although it's pretty much the same size, it's the same size, 12 by 12 by 12. I think this one's maybe an inch longer, just because of the pieces I had of foam. Now this is where the price shoots up a little bit, right? Because now we're talking about bricks, some carving and some details, some cinder blocks. So now there's more carving here. We're talking about, again, a door, graded up, some nails, a door handle, electricity box, electricity pipe, a little vent, again nailed up. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, you can tell at that angle. You can see how some of the bricks are pressed in, versus that none of them are pressed in. So this piece here is about $125. If it's going West Coast, it may be a few more bucks. But so you're looking at kind of, you know, a $50 difference for more details, more time. You know, I also take pride in all of my artwork. So whenever I do a piece, I always want it to be as clean as possible. I want, you know, I don't ever want this gray to be on the brick or the brick to be on the gray. I want the door to definitely, you know, no red here on the corner. You know, I try to put as many details as possible. So these are like the little hinges. You know, now we have kind of the do-it-yourself silly straws or whatever they're called. You know, spray painted. You have zip tie, you know, poked into the wall to hold the pole in place. You got some rust coming off of some metal, more rust there. And again, you know, it's, the point is that there's just more to be done. There's more steps. There's more time that you're putting into it. So that is pretty much what you're looking at in terms of scope of prices. Again, it's all an individual thing. A lot of times the project, you know, is just something that if I'm not feeling it, if I just don't have energy to put into it, honestly, and again, I know this sucks, but I may not even take on it. So if you can imagine where this is around 125, this is around $75. You know, the most recent one that I did that went to Mexico, that was huge. It was 2 feet long, so it was, you know, 2 of these. It was pretty much this. A lot more detail, so it was a very expensive piece. You know, I've heard, you know, a couple of people hit me up and I'll give them a price, and it's, you know, some of the responses I get like, damn. Which is kind of a nice way of saying, are you crazy trying to charge that much? You know, and I get that, I respect that, that's cool. I'm pretty sure this, you know, for example, I collect sneakers, and I'm pretty sure that if I tell people some of the prices, if they ask how much you pay for them sneakers, I tell them, they're gonna be like, yo, are you crazy? So, you know, to each their own, you know what I mean? That's cool. But you know, I put a lot of heart and effort into all of the dials. I always send them off, you know, with care instructions, and always have they get covered with an acrylic sealer, so that they're protected in case a figure tips forward. You know, he's not going to take a chunk out of the foam. These are always you know, collapsible, held together by magnets, which is another great advantage, as now you can store it away. It doesn't have to stay up collecting dust and so forth. So this one actually still am not done. I still have to put some of the signage But yeah, man. So I just wanted to kind of share that. You know, it's again. I don't want to speak for anybody in the dial community, because everybody kind of has their own way of approaching commissions and so forth. But I've just noticed that it's really similar across the board for everybody. You know, the more time you put in, the more the more it's gonna cost. I mean, this is a lot of times these pieces I'm doing them during my lunch break. I'll take a wall with me and work on it during my break. I have 2 jobs, so then I have to find some time to work on these. I have my kids are with me every other weekend. Luckily, they're a little older, so I can definitely work on them during those weekends, but I can't do as much. I can't take out the airbrush gun and all that other good stuff. So I have to try to schedule around that. So it could be challenging. It could be challenging. So yeah, man. So I just wanted to give a little bit of insight into how I personally approach commissions and the pricing and what the I guess my mind kind of wraps around commissions and how I approach it. And again, what I normally tell people, always tell me what you have in mind, tell me what your budget looks like, and then we can work something out. I'm always willing. I love doing these, you know what I mean? So if you want one of my pieces, hit me up and we'll try to work something out. It may not work out, and luckily there's a whole bunch of great artists that do dioramas and take on commission. So I'm definitely not the only one, and we all have different styles and all that other good stuff. So y'all, man. So wanted to share. If y'all have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And I'm pretty good at getting back to people for the most part. I think I'm fairly good on YouTube. I may not do it right away, but eventually every question gets answered. I don't think I have not answered the question yet. It's like a little personal record or some shit. I don't know. I thought I was out. I'm back. Only because I had actually pulled out some props that I wanted to share with you guys. Props can definitely enhance the look of your scenery, of your background, of your dials. And they can give it a whole other feel. For example, something like this where it's not as intricate, not as detailed as that. You can get a prop and you can, I don't know, lay it down in a certain angle, and it enhances the shot. And this is just gutter mesh, plastic gutter mesh that I got at Home Depot. Some dowel rods and some copper wire to hold the fencing to to the dowel rods, and then that's just a piece of foam. Super inexpensive to build. And you have these guys, which are $1, about $1 each, and this is those kind of, they come with this slimy stuff. And so again, these are $1 each, and they usually say something like poison, or they say something on it. And what I usually do is I just use sandpaper, a light sandpaper, scratch it off, scratch it all around, and just give it a dry brush. Definitely, I could have done a lot more with this, more detail. You could do some dripping rust and so forth. But again, usually it falls into the background. So $1 each, not expensive at all. You can get it at the dollar store. This is a palette, but what I like about my palettes is that they're not my palettes. This is an O-gun. This is a straight up O-gun design. This is a blueprint. I saw a picture O-gun took it in such an angle that I was able to replicate it exactly. So I can't take any credit for this framework of this palette. This is straight up O-gun's design, and I just saw it on his Facebook one time, and I basically emulated it. It came out pretty decent. And so yeah, this is just balsa wood. I think maybe $2 for this. It takes about a stick. They come in long sticks. I think they're like 2 to 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet. It's a pretty long stick, and it takes probably one of those to build. So about $2 and some nails. So you're looking at $4 maybe to create it. Less, I think. This is actually not in circulation, so it's going to be difficult for people to find this. This is a while ago. Marvel was releasing these crates, and they were actually this color. And it just came with these figures that you would kind of, these different, it may be Spider-Man, Wolverine, or what have you, and you kind of build them. And so when, you guys can kind of recognize, this one had a Spider-Man logo. You can kind of see it in the back of the paint. You kind of see the Spider-Man eyes. So inside here was a Spider-Man figure. And it says something like Marvel something. So same deal. Sanded it down, painted it, or black washed it, and then gave it a brown, dark brown dry brush. And when these came out, I don't remember how much they cost, but I remember how much they went on sale for, and I think they were like $2 and some change, and I snatched up a bunch. So I got a bunch of these crates as well. None of them are painted like this one. They're all, this is the original color. They're all that color. This is the only one so far that I've done. So you know, you can take these props and you know, enhance your shot. You know what I mean? It gives it kind of that realistic look. And I'm sorry I keep sniffling, man. I just had the flu for a couple days. I'm recovering right now, so my apologies. So yeah, so you can, you know, kind of create a real life type scene. You know, this is what you would see in corner of an alleyway or the back of a factory or what have you. So wanted to share that as well. And again, any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm out for real this time. Peace.